Hey there, this is Mukunda Mark, and I am here at Integral Yoga. I'm wearing the t-shirt. I just had class and then a study group that I do on Monday nights, and I've got the San Francisco lights behind me, and I hadn't done my reading yet, and I decided before I go home I'm going to do it from here. Reading from the Golden Present Daily Inspirational Readings by Sri Swami Satchidananda, and this is for July 3rd. And the topic is hoist your flag. I'm hearing fireworks, so yeah, here we go. Let's see how I can read this. In a way, the Founding Fathers wanted the entire America to be a Yogaville. That's what their intention was. And of course, the Founding Fathers here wanted that. The founding sages and saints of all the great religions wanted this kind of freedom and independence or liberation throughout the universe. They didn't even bother to say, let Americans be free, but let all be free. Let everyone and everything enjoy freedom. But of course, if we can't think in those terms, at least let us think small to begin with, and then keep expanding. That's what we are trying to achieve here. Every individual is a Yogaville. You have problems within you. You have to have board meetings within you. All the outside meetings are ultimately to happen within. Just as the board people sit and analyze your own problems. For that sake, your energy should really fly high. That is why the first and foremost thing is to hoist the flag. The flag is nothing but the Kundalini, or the sum total of consciousness within you rising up to the crown chakra at the top of the head. It should flutter there. You awaken the Kundalini and let it unfurl and rise through your flag post, which is the spinal column. The string that you draw to raise the flag is your breath. One string comes down, one goes up, the incoming and the outgoing breath. Lift up your energies. You cannot analyze and find the solution when your energies are low. Wow, I've never heard this analogy before of a flag with the Kundalini energy and the breath. This is pretty awesome today. The reference to Yogaville is actually Integral Yoga's main ashram, which is in Virginia, where I did my basic teacher training. So I also like that reference in here that every individual is a Yogaville. It's like we're all a microcosm of this macrocosm. Let all be free. That's really what we're celebrating. I feel like this whole idea of Independence Day is not just our. I don't really feel like it's to celebrate simply our American independence, as much as it's the idea of the ability to have this independence for all, this idea of well-being for all. Because I think when we're rooting for just one side to win or one side to get, that means another side's not going to get. And I just feel like that way of thinking is why we've gotten stuck in a lot of the predicaments we're in our world, where we tend to create this polarization, and then that becomes a way of living. And maybe that's just the way we're built, maybe that's just the way of the human condition. But I think the way of the spiritual condition is to move towards seeing that there is unity in diversity. There is this oneness within all that we recognize. We really are each other. And to go back to this example with the Kundalini, that's in the yoga practice. It's recognized that there is this Kundalini energy at the base of our spine, like coiled like a snake. And then as we practice, we awaken this snake, we awaken this Kundalini energy, and it moves up the spinal column, and it moves towards awakening. And it's part of, it's not necessarily the goal of the practice, but there's something about moving towards that by purifying and cleansing the body and activating that can awaken, so that we can recognize our our true nature. And so recognizing this as the flag, hoisting the flag, it's like looking at the flag in a different way now. And that practice of hoisting the flag, raising the flag, is like this energetic example to think about us raising our energies, raising our spirits, raising our consciousness. So I like that. It's this, flapping symbol of what that means to our highest. Once it reaches up there, it should be fluttering with, with this robust enthusiasm and clarity. But I like he's, being very practical here. Every individual is a Yogaville. You have problems within, so you have to have board meetings. You have to analyze your own problems. Yeah, so we're not always all there where everything is just, perfect and hunky-dory. Sometimes there's a lot of rubbing and scrubbing, as it's called here at the Institute, to be able to really recognize where are the limiting beliefs getting the better of us, and to be able to work on those, because we recognize that's not truly who we are. We're just being held captive to some of those ways of thinking, but they're not who we truly are. And sometimes, what I like to do is take an example of something I can think of. When did I used to identify as like, I am that person? And I know I used to call myself a starving artist. And in some ways that energetically kept that momentum of that way of thinking. And that shifted, over the course of the last 10 or so years, and having been in a different career path, to then unfold another different way and energetically unfold another way for me to actually see in a really spacious, grand way, and to not limit myself with a certain way of thinking or seeing myself. Now, when I did say that about myself, there was pride, and I enjoyed that, and that made sense. But for me, where I am today, it's a shift in what makes sense, and I don't relate to it in that same way. And that's just my life experiences. But having some kind of a reference or something else that helps us see in a different way, like this example with the flag being an example of awakening and Kundalini, like I love that. It just elevates possibility in my brain. So it's the night before July 4th. So I'm glad to get to be sharing these, and for all of you that are watching, thank you so much. And I'll be sharing another one tomorrow, somewhere, sometime. Okay, good night.